Look into your crystal ball. What will the city look like in 2008? Today we're going to be exploring that question with Mayor Bill Paxton on this edition of City Profile. Hello and welcome to City Profile. I'm Tom Butler, and with me today is Mayor Bill Paxton. Thanks for coming by for our first edition of City Profile for 2008.
Tom, it's good to be with you. I believe we've been doing this just about every year that I've been mayor, and always enjoy being with you.
Well, I appreciate you coming and giving me the scoop on what's going on in the city. And one thing that really impresses me is, as you say, ask anything you want. You don't have anything to hide. And you give me the truth as you know it to be, and I appreciate that. Right. Today, I'd like to look at the coming year,
Good.
2008. And I know that recently you gave a presentation to, I believe, the Chamber of Commerce.
Correct. On
the state of the city, so to speak. And there are many things that are in the plans for 2008. And in journalism, sometimes we go with the story by the pictures that we have. Mm-hmm. And so we have some pictures today. So I'm going to take you through in kind of an order and then let you add anything that you want to. But some of the big things that are going on right now, we'll just start at the very foot of Broadway. Mm-hmm. The riverfront, the River Heritage Museum has some major things going on down there, and Schultz Park. So what's happening in that area as we begin 2008?
Well, Tom, 2008 could be a just fabulous year for Paducah. You hate to be too positive because things can always happen, but it's going to, at the very least, be a good year, and at the best could be a marvelous year. And so, as you know, Senator McConnell has promised up to $50 million for our new riverfront. And as to date, we have received $9.3 million of that. And so we are going to start from Jefferson Street, going towards the executive end with a new greenway space and a marina and a boat ramp. And the boat ramp, all of that will be approximately $13 million. And we'll be breaking ground on that in the spring, probably April of this year. We're excited about it. We think that it's going to bring greenway space, walking trails, a marina, a lot of things to the riverfront that we don't have right now.
Can you talk a little bit about that greenway trail on the riverfront, because I'm not clear on where that will be located. You know, is it going to go through where the proposed boat ramp and marina are going to be? Is it going to go around?
It'll go along. It starts out around Noble Park, and it goes all the way downtown. And it hooks up, goes around the executive end, and it'll go smack dab through our riverfront. And then eventually, which will be about 3.8 miles, and we'll eventually head out to the south side. And so we would hope that in the next 4 or 5 years, we could have 10, 12, 15 miles of greenway trail, which will be great for biking, walking, jogging, whatever you want to do.
I'm really excited about that possibility, and I think that would be really good for Paducah. You said boat ramp, but I know that a marina is in the plans, but is that in the 2008 plans?
Yes, sir.
So it's the boat ramp and the marina?
Boat ramp and the marina. Now they're not going to be completed in 2008, okay, but at least ground will be broken and construction will be started. There is a chance that we might partner with the private sector, and the private sector might work with us on building the marina part of it. So we don't have everything set, but we do have close to $10 million, and we're going to get started, and we think the public will really love it.
And Schultz Park is also a part of this renovation.
That'll be right smack in the middle of Schultz Park.
Recently there was an editorial in the Paducah Sun that was kind of critical of the city because some of the plans that are working right now would cut off access for traffic down to the riverfront.
Right.
And you know, that's a part of Paducah culture
Right.
that has been there since I've been born, and you know, throughout the years. So that's disturbing to some people. So
Right.
tell me what you think about that.
Well, we had lots of hearings, lots of meetings on the riverfront, and we were surprised when we found out that there was a group of people that were concerned about us closing the riverfront to car traffic. We were concerned enough about that we have agreed, and we mentioned that publicly, that we would not do anything to the riverfront between Broadway and Kentucky Avenue. That's why we're starting where we are, on Jefferson Street, going towards the executive end. We're hoping that through additional hearings, additional information, educational information on what we're trying to do, that the public will be happy with what we're doing. But we're not going to do anything till we feel like that the public is in sync with what we want to do between that Broadway and Kentucky Avenue. So nothing that will happen then until those meetings have happened.
Okay, and a big part of that is the proposed, renovation, upgrade. It's almost like a new building of the River Heritage Center, which in the proposed drawings that I've seen come out over the flood wall, and then it's an incredible building project.
It is an
like.
incredible building project. Right now, the River Heritage Museum is going strong, but they want to have a phase 2 and a phase 3. Phase 2 will come out into the adjacent building, and then phase 3 will be over the flood wall, but that will not affect the driving from Broadway to Kentucky Avenue. It will go over the flood wall, will not affect traffic. But it's a $33 million project, right. Of which $10 million of that is the endowment to help support it. The River Heritage Museum feels like that once completed, that could bring 100,000 people downtown. It's going to talk about the river. It's going to talk about why Paducah is here, because of the river. How important the river, the commercial river business is to our economic development. And it will have an aquarium, a small aquarium. Obviously, that aquarium in Chattanooga has been a big boost for downtown Chattanooga, and we feel like this museum will be the same boost for our downtown.
And just so I'm clear and our viewers are clear, how do the city and the River Heritage Museum work together? Would that be a privately funded endeavor that they were doing? Are they going to go for state funds, federal funds? Do you know how that
They'll
would work?
be going for both state funds and federal funds. But the majority of it, we think, will be supported by the private sector. Just like we raised right at $15 million on the Four Rivers Center, they will raise a big part of that $30-something million in the private sector. The way the city will be involved in it is obviously we have to give approvals to the buildings as they are being planned. Obviously, when it goes over the flood wall, the city has to play an important role in that to make sure that we keep the residents safe and it does not affect the integrity of the flood wall.
Right.
But that'll be a combination federal, state, and private donations.
It'd really be something, if you've seen the pictures that we have on there, for that kind of draw to be on the riverfront. It's really, the artist renderings are real high-tech looking and really, really neat. I think it would certainly be an addition to Paducah. Let's move on to the downtown area. In 2008, I know that one thing I'm excited about is the Hooper's store, outdoor store, which I frequent a lot because I like to hike and do outdoor kind of things. Moving into, is it the United Home Furnishing?
United Home Furnishing
big building.
Tom, big building. As you know, this city commission and mayor are committed to bringing downtown back to what it used to be, a revitalized downtown. That would include Lower Town, the downtown area, and the riverfront. So we're working hard to try to bring retail. We've got to bring the shopper back downtown. It's never going to be like it was at one time, but it'll be a good combination of retail, restaurants, office space, etc. So Hooper's was a wonderful addition. We've been negotiating with them for quite a while. They're going to come downtown. They're going to invest somewhere around $3 million in that building. They're going to triple their space. They're going to have a climbing wall. They sell kayaks. There'll be kayaking lessons on the river. They sell bicycles. It'll be right next to the Greenway Trail. So it's a natural for them, and it will be an anchor. It'll be a destination point for people to come downtown to shop there.
And the city offered economic development incentives to them to move down there?
We did. We came up, we passed several incentive packages, Tom, in '07. We have facade loans to help with the buildings. We have investment loans, rehabilitation loans to rehabilitate the buildings. We give marketing assistance, and all of those will go towards encouraging people to come downtown and to invest their own money. We're giving a little bit of money, and they're in turn investing a lot of their money to make an investment in downtown.
And the hope is that they will, be a good business, and that people will go in, and then they will pay taxes forever.
They will pay taxes forever. They will be there forever.
Now, since we're talking about those economic development incentives, in 2007, the commission made permanent a tax that was at first billed to be a temporary tax that was going to be for economic development. 2 or 3 things that you came on and outlined on this program. I think some people were disappointed when the temporary tax became permanent. But, for this type of thing, maybe that is exactly why Paducah needs this. So what's your response to that?
We passed a increase in the payroll tax from 1.5% to 2%, and we made it a temporary 3-year tax. That money went into a separate budget and went for economic development. It went for infrastructure. It went for new neighborhoods like Fountain Avenue, like Lowertown. Obviously, our investment in infrastructure had dried up. We needed money to bring jobs in here, and we felt like we wanted to see how that was going to work. About 1.5 years later, it seemed to be bringing in the revenue that we needed. So we did make that a permanent tax, but we kept the separate budget, and we're still spending it on those 3 items. At the same time, we reduced the property tax from 30 cents per hundred to 25 cents per hundred. Now that is several reductions in that property tax that back in the mid-90s it was 42 cents per hundred, and now it's 25 cents per hundred. So we reduced the property tax for the people living in the city. We increased the payroll tax. Now that payroll tax, Tom, at 2%, puts us right in the middle of all the cities that charge that are in our league, that are approximately our size, all the way up to Louisville or Lexington. We're not in the higher part of it. We're not in the lower part of it. We're right in the middle. I'm a big proponent. The city needs income. They need revenue to do things. We felt like this was fair, being right in the middle. And so we're going to promise the taxpayers that we're going to spend that money prudently. We're not going to be extravagant, but we're going to move Paducah forward.
Okay. The arcade building, another example of the use of that money?
Arcade building, all of a sudden a young lady from California steps off the Delta Queen and starts looking around Paducah, and first buys the Colonial apartments in Lowertown and fixes those up and sells those out. has purchased another building in Lower Town and has turned that into condominiums, is in the process of selling that out, and says, look, let's look downtown. So she went and found the arcade and is going to put over $1 million in the arcade and turn that into retail space, office buildings, and turn that decrepit theater into something that's really going to be a positive for downtown Paducah.
That's neat. I drove downtown the other day, and I guess it was the decks for the condominiums that are on 2nd Street.
Right.
Were in the road being prepared to be lifted up to the new condominium building that's going on.
You've got so much going on, Tom. You've got the condominiums. Right around the corner, you've got the new market, which was the old Rosenfield building, men's store. It's going to be a market for people to buy groceries, whatever they might need. Right there on 2nd Street is a new restaurant that's going to open. Then you go up the street and you've got the Argentina Grill that's opening, another restaurant. Right. You have got the arcade. You have got, there is somebody coming in the 14th from New York to talk seriously about the Columbia Theater. Then you've got the Guthrie building that are turning into condominiums. So we are well on our way to, you've got Hooper's, well on our way to bring in businesses downtown, which will then in turn bring people downtown.
And then you're expanding because you broke ground on the Fountain Avenue project in 2007, and you'll be moving on in 2008.
We, before we leave downtown, Tom, we're going to be breaking ground in a few months on the new downtown hotel. We're going to build a 300-room hotel in a new convention center.
You got a commitment on that yet?
Do not have a commitment. We hope to have a commitment within the next 30 days. But if we didn't do this, we were going to lose a quilt show, and we were going to lose other conventions that we already had. If we build this hotel, the AQS people have said not only will we keep the quilt show we've got that brings 35,000 people to Paducah, but we'll bring another one there. And then we're going to go out and we're going to bring other conventions in. And we're going to get people, Tom, when they drive by the interstate and they stay out by the interstate overnight, we're going to have them drive downtown. And they're going to stay at this new, beautiful hotel.
Is there a site for that yet, or is that secret?
We've narrowed that down to 2 sites, and we have not picked the final site yet. But it's going to be smack dab right in the middle of the downtown area.
That'd be great. Because I went downtown the other day. I drove down, and I drove to the Executive Inn, and there were no cars there.
Yeah.
Not a single car. I thought it had been abandoned, and I actually got out and went in just to see if it was open because there wasn't a single car at the Executive Inn. I've never seen that in my life.
As far as I'm concerned, we're moving on past that chapter, and I don't want to say anything derogatory, but we're gonna build a hotel that people can be proud of, that people will want to stay in a nice convention center. So there is a lot going on in downtown Paducah. Now you mentioned Fountain Avenue. Tom, in 1960, you weren't born there yet, were you?
Not yet, just about though.
I was 15 years old. The population of Paducah City was 36,000 people. Today it's 27,000 ballpark. We have to increase the population of the city. The city is vibrant. It has wonderful retail. It has 2 wonderful hospitals. It has a great river industry. There's a lot going on in Paducah, but because you have a population that's declining, some people could determine that maybe we're a dying city. Well, we're not. And so this city commission has made the policy that we're going to grow the city. We're going to grow it several ways. We're going to revitalize inner city neighborhoods like Lower Town and like Fountain Avenue. Fountain Avenue goes from, will go from 13th Street to 17th Street, from the alley of Jefferson over to Martin Luther King. We will be giving away lots. We will be giving away homes. We'll be selling homes, and we want that to turn into a neighborhood that'll have houses in the $125,000 to $150,000 range. Bring our baby boomers that want to move to Paducah, bring our young people and give them a place to live. Mm-hmm. Once we finish that, then we'll go from 17th Street all the way to 28th. The second way we're going to increase the population is we're going to annex. We annex. We work with developers that have bought property and are thinking about building a subdivision, and we say, look, if you'll bring that into the city, we will give you incentives in order to do that. Obviously, if we're going to annex, it has to be before that first house is built. Then the developers can say, okay, we'll do it. So we brought the Grove that's located across from the country club. There is a subdivision out on Olivet Church Road that Mike Falconite is developing that we've annexed. And then the third way is through infill. Now, to tell you what infill is all about is there are places in the city that are open spaces that haven't been developed. And so you go to developers and say, look, how about putting a subdivision in that? And if you do, we'll give you incentives. And two examples of that is Westwood. Mm-hmm. Westwood, which was the former Paducah Country Club. Right. The Westwood Country Club, and is now going to be a beautiful subdivision that'll be on par with the Pines, Fairfield, and will bring people into the city.
And that has started, huh?
That is built, the roads are in, and the first house will be built here in the next 30 to 60 days. Another potential infill site is off of Buckner Lane, between Buckner Lane and Alvin Barkley Drive, and Mike Falconite is going to develop that. So we've got infill, we've got annexation, and we've got refurbishing and rebuilding our inner city neighborhoods. And we see that our population level is going to, people aren't leaving because the county is growing. We just have to convince them to find ways that people will build and live inside the city, and that's what we're doing.
And other things that have been in the works and will continue to be, two things that the college are involved in are the art school and the emerging technology building. Mm-hmm. We are trying to provide educational opportunities for the citizens as well. So right down in the middle of the city is what could be a great art school.
Anytime you improve your educational opportunities, you're a better city. And I am working extremely close with your boss, Dr. Veazey. I can't imagine having to work with a team and have her not be on it, because she brings so much to the table. She single-handedly is brought that technology building here, which is going to work to train our workforce, which will make us a more a better place for companies to locate. It will be a research center. And then you've got the art school that flows with the Lower Town and the artistry location that's going to bring thousands of young people in eventually that will get their art education. And so it's an exciting time.
It sounds like we've got a good year coming up, and I don't think you have to negotiate any contracts in the coming year.
Tom, you're right. We just signed Tuesday night our contract with the Firefighters Union, and that was the last contract. We have 3 unions in the city: the police, the ASME, which represents Public Works, and then the firefighters. So we have put that to bed. Those are long-term contracts. So 08 there will be no contracts standing in the way of having good morale, having enthusiastic people that are going to come up with ways that we can move Paducah forward.
And so I know that's got to be a relief not to have to, for both sides, not to have to worry about the negotiation of contracts during
I
this
think it is
time.
for both sides, but look, that's part of the job. And if you're not working on that, you're working on something else.
Do you have other infrastructure plans for the coming year?
We do, Tom. Olivet Church Road from Highway 60 in front of the mall. Olivet Church Road right now goes from where Cole's department is all the way to Old Carroll Road. And back around Old Carroll Road is where our Industrial Park West is. So that road will come and it will bear through the mall and will come out where the Red Lobster is currently. It will be a 5-lane road.
Wow.
And it will do wonders to get traffic from Highway 60 to the Carroll Road. It will help traffic coming in from Illinois that will exit there and come in the back way to the mall. So we're buying right away and moving utilities now, and so that's there. We've got Friendship Road that will hook up with Tom Butler, that will give us a straight shot all the way from James Sanders out at the mall all the way to Lone Oak.
I like the Pecan-Buckner road that's in now. That really
isn't that nice?
Real
I mean,
nice.
that has helped with the traffic flow a lot. So yeah, we're working on when you're a city commissioner or your mayor, what we do every year is we have a planning session, and we have a gentleman comes in that's been working with us for many years named Lyle Summick, and he comes in and we update our goals, and we always have updated 5-year goals, and our last goals in 07 was to improve quality of life. And we feel like we're doing that through new neighborhoods and building better roads and et cetera. Downtown development, we just talked about that, and we're concentrating on that. Vital neighborhoods, Fountain Avenue, Grove, Westwood. Population growth, infill, annexation, and economic development. The technology building that the college is building, we are hitting, Tom, we're hitting singles right now. We're bringing in jobs, companies with 25, 30, 50 jobs. We need a triple, and we need a home run, and we'll get there. We're doing everything right, and we'll eventually be successful in a big way on economic development.
Well, I'd like to ask you to come back real soon. Give me some updates on some of these projects. Anytime you have something you want to talk about, feel free to let me know and we'll get you on. And I appreciate you being here with us today on City Profile.
Tom, glad to be here, and come back anytime. Love to be with you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And thank you for being with us. We've been talking with Paducah Mayor Bill Paxton, and this is City Profile, and I'm Tom Butler. Tom Butler, thanks for being with us.